thanks Trio Açaí for their wonderful, passionate music they just performed. You will recognize their melodies later, especially composed for the film. Usually, on an event like this, the producer, the distributor, and the commissioning editor of a TV station welcome you. And I sit in the third row, nervously in my nice dry clean dress, waiting and listening to their elaborate speeches. The thing is, for this film tonight, I happen to be the director, the producer, and the distributor, and there is no TV. No TV. I like to start with mentioning a few of our guests, then I briefly comment on the origin of the idea to make the film. Then we have a big surprise, or we had hoped we would have a big surprise that flew over the ocean the past days, but it landed somewhere in between. And then we watched the movie. It's about 80 minutes. Please stay seated afterward for some words of gratitude to the wonderful people who cooperated with me and dedicated their talents in supporting to make this film. I now thank already OBA Amsterdam, Marijke Troelstra, to offer this prestigious library hall to host this event. Also, I'm grateful to the Kees Bolten Cultuurfonds Alkmaar for supporting the fluids at the party after the show. These drinks can be ordered either at the OBA bar and at the specially designed mobile Caipirinha bar of barman Ben Kramer and also chairman of Stichting Het Nieuwe Zuiden. First, I'd like to welcome, also on behalf of my beloved lifelong radio film companion Andras Hamelberg, de Nederlands Filmfonds, Prins Bernhard Cultuurfonds, Amsterdams Fonds voor de Kunst, and many other sponsors. Especially a big thank you for all the crowdfunders of Stichting Het Nieuwe Zuiden for their confidence in me and the film project. It is no exaggeration to state that about 1/3 of the people in this hall contributed financially to the production. I bow for you. Then I like to welcome the family, wives, friends and girlfriends of August Willemsen. Especially the friends that had the guts and the nerve to appear in my documentary. Marie, Noor, Paul, Bouke, Marianne, Francine, Peter, Maarten, Carlos, some more maybe. And what is also very nice, we have two nieces here, Maaike and Ingrid Willemsen. And we have a name-alike among us, nephew Guus Willemsen. Where are you? Please stand up, Guus Willemsen. And I'm very touched to have with us Vladimir Veldman and his son Francesco. They flew in this morning all the way from Los Angeles. Vladimir Vava was one of the best Brazilian friends of Guus, and he is described in the book Brazilian Letters. We will see Vava's stunning performance in the film, an interview that was shot on distance in Los Angeles. But foremost, we are honored to have the ambassador of the Brazilian embassy, Mr. Paulo Roberto Caminha de Castilhos França, and the counselor, Mr. José Luis Vieira, and they came just from The Hague. Boa noite, agradecemos a presença de todos vocês nessa noite especial. Muito obrigada, tenham bom filme. Zoals jullie horen, met het Portugees en mij is het niks geworden. So special to host these state representatives from the country of Brazil. Their presence embodies the cultural significance of the man, his life and work we are all gathered here for. Augusto Willemsen, translator, writer, essayist, actor, football fan, husband, lover and father, and especially mediator between the Dutch and the Brazilian culture. We're gonna see a film tonight, but the origin was a book, Brazilian Letters. You see how this book was tortured by me during making this film. I was deeply impressed by Guus's distinct style when I read it in Rio de Janeiro. I liked his tearful observations and his personal, disordered vision. His writings on Brazilian society and his experiences say much more about his own character than Brazil. He compels you anytime and you pick up the book. You can read it again and again. And one keeps discovering new elements, wisdom, and now and then burst into laughter. My research, as most of you know, and the development of the film into the man behind the book, the link between his life, his translations, and his writings took a few years. The most exciting part was traveling with the book in the hand, following his steps all over Brazil. The result of intertwining the video recorders from Brazilian landscapes and stories with the Bijlmermeer, Amsterdam, Australia, the interviews, the archival footage, you will see in a few minutes. I will not go into all the obstacles I encountered in striving to make this film. My last statement. Sometimes people ask me, if he were alive, would you have been in love with August Willemsen? So hard working on the subject for 7 years. Then I kind of have to admit, well, I might love, be even obsessed by the domain one could call his page, but not really the domain of his reality. However, I will stay eternally fascinated by the juxtaposition of the two in the story of his life. Before we start the projector, I will ask Joris Kleverlaan of the Stichting August Willemsen to come forward, and then the ambassador, but I think Joris will start by himself. Thank you and enjoy the film in due time.